Chromebook.
In competition later tonight against Raul Mendoza.
You see the confidence there of Jack Gallagher giving his body to his opponent only to turn it around right on him.
Why would one feel so confident as to do that?
What do you mean because you feel confident, because you're good?
Well,
because look, you're able to do things like this.
Oh, hold on a sec. Pick up the
over, here we go.
Gentleman Jack Gallagher trying to pick up the pace here. Oh! And his opponent with a big shoulder tackle.
Jack has got to keep his eye on the ball here, though. Maybe having a little bit too much fun.
Oh, the gentleman's headbutt, sending his opponent outside.
No, they said South Plains, New Jersey. Hey, you can't complain.
Y'all ready? I got the intro. Oh, if you want to move the mic a little bit so you this way the camera gets you. That's good. That's good because it's cool. All right, y'all ready?
We're chill. Bad boys on?
Yep. Whenever you're ready to talk, just hit the on button. To be honest with you.
Talked on.
Yeah.
All right.
Nicholas, here we go.
All right.
And that was a soundbite of Ray Jazikoff, his last match on SmackDown, the 205 preview show, correct?
Yeah,
right?
205 Live.
How was that, my man? Up in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, it was great. They're like, who wants the opportunity tonight? Who's ready to compete? And I was like, first one to raise my hand. I'm ready. I'm ready to compete. Always ready to compete.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
He's hungry.
As he should be. As he should be. What was that whole experience like? You know, you're like driving to the building, right? And you're back there and you're with all the different athletes and everything. Like, what was that doing? Obviously, there were jitters, I'm assuming.
That was like my fourth time doing extra work for WWE. I did Raw at Prudential Center. I did SmackDown in New Hampshire, and then NXT at Full Sail. So this was my fourth time. The other times I did like security bits and everything. This time was my first competition, so it was
cool.
A little bit more excited, but I was going in there to compete. So
good. There's a lot happening right now with the industry itself. You know, so many different podcasts, AEW. You know, so many people always just commenting and just putting their 2 cents in, right? Why do you think that is? Do you think it's helping? Do you think it's hurting?
Just like any sport, you know what I mean? Just like baseball and the NFL, the XFL now. Everyone's going to have an opinion on sports. Everyone has their own feel. Everyone likes something different. With baseball, right, some people like the home run hitters. Some people like the strategic game of the bunting and getting a base hit. Same thing with wrestling. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has their own tastes. What my coach tells me, my trainer Damian Adams, you know, it's different flavors, just like ice cream, different flavors. You got to find out what you like, and then you got to make it your own as well.
How hard is that, would you say, when you're first jumping in, when you're first training, when you're first learning, you know, finding, you know, your flavor, you know, finding the lanes you want to go down, the lanes you don't want to go down, like how much of that is touch and go?
Well, really, it's always a learning process. You know, same thing with life. You want to be able to learn something new every day. You don't want to be the same where you were off the day before. You always want to be 1% better. Same thing with wrestling. I don't want to be the same person as I was yesterday. I want to improve. I want to improve as an athlete, as a competitor, as a performer. So it's taking different bits and pieces of your coaches and then making it your own.
Yeah.
Same thing a lot with amateur wrestling. There was different styles. Some guys were throwers. Some guys were a single leg shooter. Some guys were double leg shooters. You had to be able to defend all of them and know everyone's different styles to be able to defend that. But then again, you have your own style. I was more of the aggressor. I didn't have the best technique, but I was one of the toughest and strongest guys out there. So my technique was good. I just kept in good positioning and got to what I was good at. I didn't really, in amateur wrestling, I didn't try to be a funk guy, someone that, you know, grabs different parts and flows around. I was more of a go-getter and just be tough and grind out positions. But I wasn't going to go and be a funk guy just to do it. No, I stuck to what I was good at and what I needed to do. With the pro wrestling, it's you got to adapt to where you're at and who you're competing against, you know.
When it comes to, you know, someone with your caliber and like your background and everything, what is the most difficult thing from going from the mat to the ring?
From the mat to the ring, it's reacting with the crowd. So when I was competing in college, I had tunnel vision, right? I didn't care what the crowd was saying. I didn't care if they were booing or cheering me. I was there to win. I was there to put points on the board for myself and then for my team. Now it's different. You go to these different towns, and the crowd is there to see you. You know what I mean? They're paying to see you, so they want to be noticed. You know what I mean? You're there to compete, but you want to also give the crowd something that they can cheer about and notice. So that was the biggest thing, was just interacting with the crowd. You know, making the crowd feel good and everything. So just the crowd is the biggest thing.
That audience element.
Yeah, because I wrestled at MSG in college and everything, and I was so in tune to just wrestle my opponent that is. You know, it was like second nature, not focused on the crowd. So now you have to break that mold and then focus on the crowd.
The expectations of the audience is way different.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And whether you're on the mat or you're in the ring, there's an expectation there that for you as the performer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For you as the athlete in there. And I'm sure that like shifts with what's happening in your head. You're back there about to walk out. There's a different mentality that you had. Than walking to like the mat. Like how much of it is, okay, I still have to go out there and do my thing, but I still have to be cognizant enough to know I do have all these people that I have to kind of just respond to. How much does that take a toll on you, area to area, night to night?
I basically, I can control what I can control, right? I can control my training. I can control how I react to the crowd. I can control what I want to do in the ring. I don't focus on what I can't control. I can't control what people think about me. I can't control, I can't control a lot of things, but I focus on what I can control. And the way I look at it is I did everything that I possibly could to get ready for this fight, to get ready for this match. So other than that, that's it. One of my coaches in college, he told me that when I was getting ready for the national tournament. He says, the work's in the bank. That's it. Just trust your training. You did everything that you possibly could to be ready for this tournament. So I look at my matches the same way. I did everything that I possibly could to get ready for this match. Make yourself, a check mark. Okay, you did your training. You're ready. You're at the event. All right, cool. You met with your fans before. Maybe you meet with them after. You wrestle. You compete. You see how the crowd likes you. You see if they like you in the ring, that's good. If they don't, then fix what you got to fix for the next show. So.
Absolutely. What's up, Alex?
No, I just wanted to ask you, going forward, so when I first met you were in a little gym, right, up in Glassboro, small crowd.
Yeah.
So next week, you're in 1,000 more people watching you, spotlight. Clearly didn't seem to affect you from when I watched you live versus watching you on YouTube, like the snippets when I did get to watch it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, I'm not going to lie to you. So I watched all what I could on YouTube, but it looked like none of the spotlight affected you. How much of like that could be nerve-wracking and, walking down the aisle when your name gets called? Oh,
that just comes from my training. My coach, Damian Adams, when I train up in Morton, New Jersey, Team Adams Pro Wrestling Academy. He says you want to be able to perform and compete whether it's the same, whether there's 20 people in the crowd or whether there's 20,000. Right. There's no difference. You still put on the same performance and you put everything that you can in that ring. Right. Leave no stone unturned. So that's the way I went into it.
Was moving your wrestling career from the mat to professional to in the ring, is that something that you were from a child? Is that later on? It's always interesting. Like whenever I get a chance to speak to like an athlete who is a wrestler, the age that they decided, all right, I do want to. Those are like the big leagues I want to pursue.
So it's actually a pretty interesting story. When I was a kid, my grandfather was a big fan with pro wrestling. So was my sister and my mom, and he was a big Bob Backlund fan and everything. My mom was too and everything, and he would have me watch wrestling. And my town was a big wrestling town.
He's a good grappler.
Yeah, so my grandfather actually took me to my first wrestling practice, and I thought there was going to be a ring and stuff and everything, but it wasn't anything like that. It was a circle mat, and people were wearing singlets. I'm like, what is this? But then since my town is a big wrestling town, I just I soaked it all in, and that was my life. From I started when I was in kindergarten till I was a senior in college, until I took 7th in the country. But then little things in my life happened to finally put me in the position I am in, to be a professional wrestler. I remember I think I was in either an 8th or 9th grade. I was training at the Underground Strength Gym. Zach Evanesh, he's a legendary strength and conditioning coach. He had the Ultimate Warrior come and talk to us.
Okay.
So he was training with us, lifting with us.
Yeah.
And he pumped everyone up. He goes,
Intense guy.
oh, intense guy.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? You gotta do everything with passion. He goes, you know what my passion is? I'm like, what is it? He goes, my passion is effing passion.
That's a very Ultimate Warrior thing to say.
That is.
Anyone that knows who that's apropos. That makes sense.
He was like, if you don't have any passion, then what the heck are you doing? What are you living for? So then that stuck out with me. So then that made me, have a good high school career and finally pick, all right, go to NYU, wrestle at NYU. And then while I was at NYU, I used to wrestle and do some classes at Renzo Gracie's Academy in New York City. So there was a couple of pro wrestlers there, and they kind of put the idea in my head. And then my roommate, actually, he was like a wrestling fan growing up too. And it's like when you finally meet that one wrestling fan growing up, you're like,
it works.
Yeah, it works. You talk about it. And then we actually watched WrestleMania. We all got the network in our apartment, so we were watching all the old stuff.
That's dope.
So it just clicked. It's actually cool. He's the one that designed my gear, my logo. So,
Okay.
So I say everything with me is like a part of my family, part of my community. So the fact that he's on my trunks and everything, it's great.
Small
he
circle.
designed it. Yep, the small circle for sure.
Take him to the top.
But the one thing that really not helped me, but kind of dictated me in the path was my sister passed away when I was going into my junior year of college. Right, so actually the person who I'm wrestling the 23rd, Fred Rosser, he says never die with a story. So I feel like she died with a story. And I'm here to tell it. I'm here to have her part of my story now.
Wow.
So what happened then after? So I graduated. So fast forward, I graduated college, which is a big change. I was wrestling since kindergarten, and then I achieved this goal of being an All-American.
Yeah.
Where do I go next? I graduated from NYU, which was top-notch university. I had a 3.7. Not only was I All-American, I was a 4-time academic All-American, which I make sure I tell my athletes that I train and coach.
Can you fly
I coach
too?
wrestling.
This guy.
Trying to.
I see those lads, my guy.
But when I was done, I was like, what? I'm like, what now? What now? So I was going on these job interviews, and I just couldn't see myself in the desk, just like doing something I didn't love. And that was until I finished a clinic in Brooklyn, and the coach there was good friends with Bob Backlund. So Bob Backlund gave me a call, and it was funny. I was just getting off of this lame job interview, this boring job that I knew I didn't want to do. And I swear I was going to take that tie off and find a bow tie, put it on, because Bob Backlund with the bow tie. And what he told me is, live life with no regrets. If you want to do it, go and do it. If you have this urge, go and do it. He knew that I was good with kids because I did clinics and stuff, and then I was a pretty good amateur wrestler. So after that, I went in full effort, and then he got me in touch with Damian Adams, and then it's been 1 year and 5 months now. So
wow,
yeah,
that's progress.
So I wanted to ask you a question real quick. What goes into your training regimen? Like, do you do a lot of hard weights? Do you do a lot of cardiovascular? Do you do a lot of stretching? That type of thing.
So the way I told Damian the first time I stepped into Team Adams Academy, first time I was ever in a ring, I said, I'm going to give you the same effort that I put into my career as an amateur wrestler. I said the full effort, the full training, everything. The only thing that's really different is I don't have to make weight, which is the great part. So, but I still have a clean diet and everything. But the training's 24/7. There's no stop. If I'm not physically training, I'm watching the network. I'm watching old footage. I'm working on my promos. I'm working on my social media. I'm working on marketing myself. But what I do is I lift about 5-6 times a week. And I make sure I take care of my body too. So I do yoga once a week. I started doing yoga my senior year in college, and that helped me on the mat, just recover, the little nagging injuries you get from amateur wrestling. So I keep that up. I go to this place called Thrive. It's in Spring Lake. They put me in the cryo chamber. They do some acupuncture, so that's good. So with the weights, it's 5-6 times a week. Sometimes I lift twice a week. I mean, not twice a week, twice a day. I still do my plyometrics, which I was doing amateur wrestling. Plyometrics, cardio, of course. Wrestling with the kids is the biggest cardio.
I'm
coaching.
Sure. I'm sure.
So that's pretty good. But yeah, a lot of sometimes I separate body parts. Sometimes I put in big lifts like deadlifts and power cleans. But
And my other question for you was going to be, I know every wrestler has their own style of wrestling, creates their own character, and does their own thing, but they also borrow from other professional wrestlers. Who are some of your biggest influencers that you borrow moves from and things like that?
Right now, I mean, my biggest influence is my trainer, of course, Damian Adams. So my style is more kind of his style.
Okay.
And there's so many different styles, it's hard to pinpoint who, but I put a little bit of him, I put a little bit of Bob Backlund, I put a little Owen Hart. I watch a lot of Owen Hart films.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you guys have the same frame.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep, we have the same frame. A lot of Dynamite Kid, of course. So I try to mold it all into my style. A lot of Kurt Angle. You have to watch him if you're an amateur wrestler.
Absolutely.
He was the best amateur wrestler to do it.
I know, Alex, you have something because I got like 3.
You got an army of things, don't you?
A little bit. Now that he's like actually like going, like I got some. How much of your, because with Angle, I mean that's who he was. You know what I mean? He allowed himself to. All right, cool. I'm not in my hometown, so I get to like feel myself. I'm gonna be arrogant.
Yeah,
right? I'm gonna let the world know exactly. Like I'm the shit.
Yeah.
You know, is that?
Well, that's the other thing with amateur wrestling and going into professional wrestling that I forgot to notice is like. With amateur wrestling, when you're wrestling for a college, you're kind of under a microscope. You know what I mean? They see what you're doing. You're there representing your team, your country. So now you're a professional wrestler. It's about you. You know what I mean?
Independent contractor.
It's not about a team anymore. So this is you. How are you going to sell yourself to have people either like you or hate you? You know. Same with MMA now. It's like you see a lot of guys. The big money fights are the guys that interact with the crowd that are very controversial.
McGregor.
Same thing with pro
Diaz,
wrestling.
Mayweather.
So that was the biggest thing now. It's like you have to show yourself, show off. When I was in college, I never liked to show any of my training, nothing, because I didn't want my opponent to know.
Right.
Now it's like your opponent's going to know, but you want people to see because you want people to go and see you. You know what? Show off what you could do. So now it's kind of like more towards showing off yourself.
Right.
You know,
that was a point that I wanted to bring up to you because I was looking at your Instagram and looking at how you train, and you know you're calling out Fred and you're letting him know, you're letting the world know, right? I know me personally, I would love to see more athletes who are professional wrestlers use it to present themselves in that manner. Not so much, oh, here's an event happening or anything like that, but like I'm getting ready, Is that something that you see changing more? Is that a mentality thing? Do you think that separates you?
Well, everyone's different. So, I mean, if it is separating me, then I'm doing my job. I'm doing the right thing. But everyone has their own thing. Some people are better talkers, so they'll put up their talking videos. Some people have their own thing, like an outdoorsman. He'll go and film himself out in the woods shooting deer and then wrestling. Myself is just Ray Jazz is it's me. You know what I mean? I'm just a kid from a blue-collar town, South Plainfield, New Jersey, who worked really hard in amateur wrestling, became an All-American, went to a top-notch school, and now here I am in pro wrestling. I'm a combination of everyone that was in my life, and that's who I am.
Now, do you feel pressure, being that your kid come from a blue-collar area? Now, granted, we have Philly and New York.
Yeah.
So we're in a huge saturated market with talent and stuff. Is there any pressure like lies on your shoulders coming in that market?
Well, diamonds are made under pressure, right? Like I said, I could only control what I can control. It's a big mindset. Everything's a mindset. So I work with this one company. It's called Wrestle Mindset. I work for them. We have athletes that I talk to who, it's sports psychology. So young wrestlers that need help on the mat, I talk to them about their mindset going into competition. They have pressure too going into the state tournament. Right? I tell them, don't worry about rankings. All you can do is control what you can control. You can control your effort, attitude, and aggressiveness on the mat. Yeah. Same thing with life. You know what I mean? You can only control what you can control going into life.
It's crazy how many guys that are physical specimens. Like it's Lesnar is one that I think of, right? And he said it himself. You can listen to it in any interview. His first run with the company was 2 years? And he said it's mentally it can be draining. The travel,
CM Punk had the same issue, right?
Yeah, there was a litany of other issues with him, but that is part of it. It's what he mentioned. So it's not just the physical. So a lot of it is the mental and just knowing, okay, cool, I got a girlfriend, I got a wife back home, right? And I'm traveling. Wonder what she's doing right now. Friends and family, all those things. As you're about to step into like a larger role, are those thoughts stacking up on you?
Not really. I was always the one to be ready for a challenge. So, I'll build that bridge when I build it, but like I said, I'm going to control what I can control,
right.
The controllables. What could I do, what could Ray Jazz do today to get me closer to my goal? And it's a lot of times I tell the athletes the same thing. I'm like, all right, you can't win a state tournament tomorrow because the tournament's not until March. So what are you doing today to bring you closer to that goal? So I have long-term goals and short-term goals that I set every day. So what can I do today to get me closer to that goal?
Yeah.
So, of course, my goal is to, make it to the top of professional wrestling, sports entertainment. Of course, WWE's there, AEW. There's all these other companies and opportunities. Of course, I want to be in the WWE. That was the top. That's the thing for years, and they'll always be there.
Right.
But what can I do to make me the best version of myself and the best professional wrestler I could be today? So whatever happens, happens. Patience is a virtue.
For you, is the standard, the same for anybody else who, watches, gets involved, they love it? Is it WrestleMania, main event, WWE Championship? Like, that's it. Okay, cool. I did it. For you, is that?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
It's got to be. Who do you
Hall
see
of
yourself up
Fame and
against?
everything.
Who would you like to see yourself up against? Current roster.
I would love to go against Matt Riddle. That'd be great. Yeah. I think we would tear it down, and we would compete very hard there.
That'd be a barn burner.
Oh yeah,
that would be good. I know me personally, right? I would like to start seeing myself training, getting involved with so much out there, right? It's so saturated. What would you say to somebody who is thinking about it? They're on the fence, they're like, oh, I have all these different avenues now because we're seeing these other territories and places like AEW. We see they can just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
all you have to have is somebody with the pocketbook for it and the interest, and you'll get yourself a company. And not just a company, you'll get yourself a TV deal. And not just a TV deal, you'll get pay-per-views, right? Like, which to anyone who's like, dude, this is the time. Like, what would you say is like the best advice?
Well, it's exactly the same with entrepreneurs nowadays. Anyone could start up a business. Anyone could do anything, especially with social media. So the biggest thing is make sure you're doing. If you want to make the choice, make sure your social media is clean. Make sure you got to be full in too. You can't just dip your feet in. You can't just be like, oh, I'm in, I'm out. Same thing with a business. You can't be halfway through it. If you want to do it, you got to go full in. You got to train hard at the gym. You can still have a job. I still have a regular job, but you have to make the sacrifices to do it. You know what I mean? The opportunities are there, but you still got to bust your butt to get there. Yeah. You got to make sure you're hitting the gym. You got to make sure you're watching old tapes. You got to make sure you interact with people because there's so many other wrestlers in there, and you got to find something to separate yourself from everyone else.
Especially with the pace that these guys move now, right? It's so different from the 80s, the 90s. It's different from 2008. Now, right? I mean, we're seeing guys go to the top rope more. We're seeing guys leave the ground more, right? More dives and everything. Like they're going all out. The style is changing. Do you think that desensitizes the audience, right, to a more old school style? To the guys who like, dude, that's just not my skill set. I keep on my feet. I don't go to the top rope. Do you think that's desensitizing people to it?
I mean, like I said before, it's all about the crowd. What's the crowd's there to see. But then again, you don't want to eat steak every night, right? You don't want to eat chicken every night. So you want different things. You know what I mean? If the same thing happens over and over again, you get tired of watching it. Yeah. So my trainer is big on what's old is new and what you're good at. You know what I mean? Stick to what you're good at. And like for me, I'm a good grappler. So in the beginning, that's it. I'm sparring. I love sparring. In training, I love I spar with everyone at training. and I could do that for hours. In my matches, you only see a little bit of that. You
Okay.
know? Because it's a fight, so guys are they're out there punching you. So I gotta adapt. You gotta adapt to the situation.
Elbows, knees, and everything's allowed.
So same thing with performers nowadays. You gotta adapt to the situation. You know what I mean? If someone's hitting you with a move off the top rope, you know what I mean? How you gonna counter that? How you gonna get back at them? So what are you gonna do?
It's definitely evolved since at least the late '90s. To you, what's the biggest change, like without question, like in the industry?
The biggest change, I mean, growing up from when I was a kid to now, it's like it's all about your story now. It's not so much gimmicks or characters anymore. It's about your personality and who you are and how you want to show that off. Got anything? We're good.
Oh yeah, we're good. We'll edit around that. I wasn't sure if he had a question or not or anything. But you said for you, it's not so much about character. People want to know. I want to know where you come from.
It's also finding something different too. It's like it's all been done. You think about it. Oh, that's been done. That move's been done. That finisher's been done. What can you do now that's different? And that's the hardest part, is finding something that's different.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think you bring different to the industry? Like what about why should we be tuning in to watch you?
Yeah, that's a great question. That goes back to who I am. I'm this blue collar kid from South Plainfield, New Jersey, that works hard and does everything that they possibly could to try to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people can connect to that, because a lot of people give up. They give up on their goal, and then it's too late. Even though they could be this close, from their goal. They just don't see that light of the tunnel. Me, if you keep on pushing hard, you keep on putting in that hard work. Hard work never goes unnoticed. It always pays off in the end. Whether it's tomorrow or whether it's a couple of years down the road, just don't give up. Keep it going. Not to steal anything from John Cena, but I'm the kid that represents that growing up. I'm from that blue collar town in New Jersey. I went from, not being the best wrestler in high school to just working my way up to being who I am today. I got recruited by NYU. I worked my butt off to be the all-time wins record there, single seasons win record. I worked hard to be that All-American. I didn't have the best technique, but I was tough, and I was just working hard. I was going to make sure I was in a better shape than my opponent. I was going to make sure I was tougher, and that no one was going to just like outwork me in the wrestling room. I try to be the hardest worker in every room that I'm at. If not, then I'm the most mentally tough person in the room.
Where does that come from? I mean, obviously your talent and everything, but like your father in your life or anything. Where does that attitude come from?
I think it just comes from my coaches in my life. I'm a product of all my coaches and all the people that were in my life, and they always told me you could always give more. You always put in that extra work. If someone in the wrestling room was staying after doing extra work with me, I was waiting until he left. I wanted to be the last person in the room. If I couldn't be the first one because of class, whatever, I was going to be the last one there. There was no one outworking me. If he did 50 reps and push-ups, I was going to make sure I did 60. Dude. Just to prove a point. But I don't know. I think because it's my competitive nature or my drive, I have no idea. But I think it's just a product of my coaches and my community, and it's just who I am.
That's like a wrestling family thing. I know a lot of wrestling families, and like when they're in it, like more so than any other sport. My brother did AAU basketball. My cousin played football. I had another cousin that went down to a farm for baseball. So, sports are around me. I'm more of like the performing, writing aspect. I didn't get those genes. But more so than any other sport, out of all the wrestlers that I've met, like there's such the community is crazy strong.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, and that has to have to do with the fact that it's been around since the Greeks.
Oh yeah,
it's got to be.
It was funny because when we went overseas, when I was wrestling at NYU, we went to Germany and we wrestled in Vienna and everything. And even if they didn't speak your language, you're a wrestler. So it was little things that we got along with. So wrestling's a community. I could basically go anywhere in the country and they see my ears. They see the
cauliflower.
They see the ears and they know, oh, you're a wrestler. Oh, who do you know? Somehow you just know a mutual friend. Wrestler.
Is that a badge of honor for you?
Oh,
do you like to show off the ear?
my mom doesn't like it, but I like it. It's just battle scars, I guess. But it was just it happened during the season, so it was like, oh, you get them drained, but the doctor goes, oh, if you get them drained, once you get your heart rate up, it's going to come back. I'm like, I can't miss a day of practice.
Yeah.
I can't miss a day of training. So what are you talking about?
It really is like the I can't think of any other sport that has like a significant scarring like that. You know, there's not really like a basketball. You know, you can assume, oh, he's a taller guy, he might play basketball. But you look at a dude's ear, and it looks like, you know, I mean, yours is not the worst that I've seen, but and you're like, dude, clearly he's like a competitor.
Yeah, he's either a wrestler, MMA fighter, or boxer.
What's the worst injury that you suffered so far as a pro wrestler?
Oh, injuries, man. I don't like to talk about those. Come on, man.
Gotta rush you with a shamrock in your pocket.
I'm big on recovery, and I don't like to let my opponents know anything about, you know, injuries or anything. So I don't really like to talk about it.
That's cool.
But the biggest injury I had in amateur wrestling was I went into the conference finals, and I didn't know I did this. I thought they were only sprained, but I went in the conference finals. One was a high ankle sprain, and one was a broken ankle. I went into it. I was competing with it. It was stupid on my part. But I was like, I told the trainers and the doctors, like, don't tell me until after. And it wasn't until after, like, I don't know how you did it, but, and then they told me, I was like, oh man, that was really stupid. They're
But
like,
just
For you, it's not going out there.
So you competed with a broken freaking ankle.
There you go.
Broken ankle. Yeah. Broken ankle, I guess. I mean, that's why I guess I didn't do pretty well in the Nationals that year, but
that probably had something to do with it.
That probably had something to do with it, but
I thought I was badass when I finished the Spartan race with a dislocated shoulder. He out here wrestling with broken ankles.
I stubbed my toe yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna walk around today, but I have not had that happen.
Yeah. Oh, you did the Spartan race.
I did the Spartan race. Yeah.
I helped Joe DeSena out with his Spartan wrestling camps up there.
Really?
So yeah, I was on his podcast. We filmed it a couple months ago, so I wonder when it's going to be released. But I was on his podcast. Yeah.
Now, speaking of podcasts, being that you're on one right now, what's it like? You know, wow, they want to interview me. They're coming to me.
Oh, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for you know, anything that happens in my life, especially this. You know, I love doing this. You know what I mean? I could have just called in, but you know, I want to see you guys. I want to talk to you guys. I want to interact with people because I'm a people's person. You know what I mean? Anything that I could do to not only help myself but help you guys too. So I really appreciate the opportunity and
absolutely
and everyone that supports me and you know, anyone that has a goal and they're doing what they love and working towards their goal, I'm all for it. So I'm all supporting. That's why I was when you hit me up, I was like, no, I'm coming to the studio.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do something, I'm going all in. I'm coming. I'm driving to that studio.
See, I felt bad. I was like, yo, I can make this easy for you. You can call in, but it'd be great to have the conversation with you. And you looked at me and you're like, nah, I can come to it. And I was like,
I'm going to the studio.
That's awesome. If I can have you sitting in the studio, like that's dope. That's cool.
I didn't care if it was an hour drive or whatever, man. I always put in the extra effort. So here I am.
That's appreciated. And it goes both ways. You know, you're helping me out, and then hopefully I can help you out somewhere down the line.
Oh no, don't even worry about it, man.
It's awesome to be able to talk to someone like you. Like,
no, don't even worry about it. It's my pleasure coming here. Don't worry about it.
How's the haters?
Oh, the haters? I don't see them. No, I'm just kidding.
Can you hate this guy? Look at him. Can you hate him though?
I mean, I guess what I mean is you have a lot of people who, you know, they do mixed martial arts and they do amateur wrestling, right? And they swear on everything that they will not touch professional. They don't like the stigma of there's a pyro and there's production and everything that they wear is flashy. Like, they don't understand. This is something that is being presented on television. Like, it's you know. You have to think about those things. Do you care about those stigmas?
That was the biggest thing that I was not afraid of, but I was a little hesitant of when I first started. When I first started, only a couple people knew I was doing it. And then, you know, I asked around. I was like, you know what? Like I said, if I'm gonna go full in, I'm gonna go full in. And then that's when the House of Hardcore show in Woodbridge happened, and I finally told everyone in my community. They wrote a paper on it and everything. So that's when I really felt the love for it. But when I was growing up, amateur wrestling and everything, there was that stigma there. Oh, that's that crap on TV and all that stuff. That's not real wrestling. This is real wrestling. But you know, now doing it, it's like it's as real as it can be. It's real life. Pro wrestling is real life.
It's insane that people don't take all the variables and elements into it. The travel, the physical upkeep, the mental, emotional, spiritual upkeep that you have to have. You know, even the terrain being different. I mean, I've not hit those ropes, but I've certainly tugged on them, and I'm like, this is no joke, throwing yourself into it. You know, that's that's not just a canvas. That's plywood there, dude. Like this is nothing to mess around with.
And the thing with pro wrestling, it's real life. You know what I mean? It has its ups and it has its downs.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to interact with people. In life, you have to interact with people.
Right.
So it just prepares you for life as well. Even with the traveling prepares you for life. You know, driving, you learn how to fix a tire. You learn how to take care of your car. You learn how to eat on the road. You learn how to travel on the road. You learn, the best rest areas to go to compared to this. You learn my favorite thing is learning about a community. Right. Even now, wrestling on independence and stuff, you're going to these communities that you would have no idea that it was there unless you wrestle there. And that's my favorite thing to do is going to the communities like Whitehall, New York. One of my favorite places to go now. It's just a great community. It's just like the small town in upstate New York that, the fans are very appreciative of pro wrestling and us, and it's very cool to see that small community that I would have had no idea about it if I didn't go there and experience it. So it's one of my favorite towns going to now.
One of the beauties of being an independent contractor.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Essentially.
But is it awesome wrestling in big cities? Oh, of course. The
I can only
Buffaloes and
imagine.
stuff, but it's all about those little communities that you just appreciate so much more. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm from. I'm from a small community, South Plainfield, New Jersey, where we have our community. They always say, "Oh, no one ever leaves South Plainfield," but
you feel at home.
My heart will always be there for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you feel at home at small communities?
Yeah, I feel kind of at home because it is. It reminds me of a lot of my hometown.
Good.
Yeah.
Who else we got in the studio, Alex?
We got Ray's cousin Luigi here.
Oh, we got Luigi.
What's up, Luigi? How you feeling? How's life, man?
There's a blue collar worker right there. NJ Transit. He works for NJ Transit.
I was gonna say, what's your role in all this, man?
I just got my boys back. You know what I mean? We grew up together. We were on the same team together. We've been through a lot together, and as we get older, we're still close. You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing right there. You know what I mean? He's got my back in what I do. I got his back in what I do. You know what I mean? And being sorry, I got to cut this out.
Yeah, he's not much of the talker.
No,
not that
you're
much
good,
of a
you're
talking
good.
type.
Look at that mustache, man. No
It
shave
works.
November.
It works.
No shave November.
Were you a professional wrestling fan before
I
you got
wasn't
involved?
really into it like that. I watched it whenever I was at his house and stuff. But just seeing it from an outside point of view, it's very entertaining.
Were you holding? You be honest. Were you the one that also had those stigmas? Like, dude, you're about when he told you.
I would never see myself doing that anyway. You know what I mean? And
in any capacity?
No.
Walk to the ring with him, cheering him on, being his manager.
Of course,
Yeah, being his manager.
Initiate myself into like
a
a fight like that, but I went to his fights. I'm going to his fight November
23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big one.
November when?
November 23rd.
We're at
Hackettsown, New Jersey.
Against who?
Centenary University or Centenary College. I don't think they're a university. But against Fred Rosser, Darren Young. He was trained by the same guy I was trained with.
Gotcha.
Damian Adams. So it's kind of a clash of
students.
And
the Masters 2 students.
Yeah,
That's like a movie.
and what do they call it? A clash of generations.
There you go.
He's older and I'm younger, so the two clash of generations. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
He prides himself on being a
push?
WWE alumni. And that's where I want to be. I want to be in the WWE. He's been there. So I want to prove to myself that I could be in that league. You know
awesome.
what I mean?
Well, like from last week, all of a sudden on Twitter I see you on fucking WWE. Excuse my language.
you gotta edit that, man.
You know what
Come
I
on.
mean? I'm like, I text him like, yo, why did you tell me you're actually gonna be on TV? He's
I was like, because I didn't know I was gonna be. I took the opportunity. I seeked the opportunity.
I'm like, wait, this is WWE at the corner of the screen. I'm like,
Yeah.
no effing way.
Yeah. And like I said, I had no idea. I was going there. I had no idea I was having a match, but the opportunity was there, so I took it. Another example of that was there was a show. I think 3 or 4 months in, I was just started pro wrestling, and Damien was like, "Oh, you want to?" They have an opening in Canada, wrestle this promotion called Destiny. And I was like, Destiny? That was my sister's name who passed away. So it was just weird how that happened. And I was like, yeah, of course. And apparently it's like it is. It's one of the biggest promotions in Canada. So I went there just 3-4 months in. and perform there. It was like a fatal 5-way against like some top-notch guys, and they were like, "Wow, you only been doing this for a couple months. You're looking good out there." So I'm all about taking the opportunities and seeking them, and then doing my best in that moment. So it's panning out, and I'm very fortunate for any opportunity.
There's a through line there, dude, with amateur wrestling, just gelling over with professional wrestler. I mean, you look at guys like Jake Hager. You look at Kurt Angle, Lesnar, right? All those guys. Those skills transfer over better than anybody else's for obvious reasons. That being said, do you see a surge now of amateur wrestlers saying, okay, this is an avenue I can seriously go down? Because before there was always that trepidatious, I don't want to touch that. Nah, it's too much of a production. I don't want to. I'm bare bones, get in there, singlet, headgear, do my thing, throw the guy around, get off. You and all these other people who are starting to become more popular, fame, celebrity, whatever you want to call it, money, all those things. Is that like an avenue for your guys? Do you preach that to your guys?
Well, there's a running joke in the amateur wrestling community. When you're a basketball player, they're like, oh, you got to go to college and then hopefully you go pro. It's same thing with wrestling. Oh, what are you going to do when you're done with wrestling in college? Yeah, what do they say? What are you going to be, the coach, go to Olympics?
I can become a pro wrestler.
Or you can be a pro wrestler?
Yeah. That's great. That's beautiful. I love that. That's awesome.
And it's funny because I got that growing up, and then it was funny because my one roommate, my college teammates and everything, they made this joke. So when I finally told everyone I was a pro wrestler, I was like, that joke that people used to tell, oh, what do you do after college wrestling? What are you going to be in the WWE? What are you going to be a pro wrestler? And I'm like, actually, yeah, I am.
It's a tough, listen, it's a tough lifestyle. It is anyone that doesn't actually sit and look into what professional wrestlers do is complete. It's drive-by knowledge. Everything they get, that's what I call it. It's just drive-by knowledge, right? They only know what they've been taught from parody, essentially, right? Like they don't know like the bumps and the bruises and the travel and all those different things.
Oh no, yeah, because there's casual viewers. You only see what's in front of you. Same thing with social media nowadays. That's why it's very dangerous because you're only seeing what's put in front of you. You're not seeing the background. There's this one guy that I follow on Instagram. I think he's part of the Harlem Globetrotters, but I really like his stuff. He shows every shot he puts, it's of him missing. And he makes the point that, life is about misses. Life's about rebounding. And I always thought that was pretty interesting. So, social media and anything that you really watch, just think you're looking at something that someone's putting in front of you. So you don't see the work behind it. You don't see the struggle. You only seeing what's good. And that goes for a lot of things in life,
It's almost like the iceberg effect. You see this, but under it's all this.
Oh, yeah.
I say wrestling, I think Nick can second this. Between wrestling and UFC, it's probably one of the most strenuous, hardest sports on the body for full body workout, constant traveling back and forth. There's limited time off, weight cutting,
yeah.
Limited time off throughout the whole year. Like football players go a season, then they're in season, and in the off season they have the whole off season for the family. Same thing with baseball, but wrestling, it's kind of like there isn't really an off season.
They're on the road like 270 days or something like that.
It depends.
What situations you put yourself in. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be more conservative and actually cut weight before the season starts, so this way when the season begins, you don't have to worry about putting all that extra time in the cut weight and worry about technique and resting and family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like
the way I looked at it with amateur wrestling, there was no off season. I was still wrestling,
especially for our
quote
town,
unquote in the off season. I was still going to the off season tournaments. I was still practicing at the clubs. I was still practicing with my teammates to prepare myself for the season. So same thing with me now. There's no off season in this either. While my friends are out doing what they're doing, I'm inside studying. I'm inside taking care of my body. I don't watch Netflix. I just watch the WWE Network. You know, and even though I'm studying tape, sometimes I fall asleep, but then I make sure I wake up, rewatch it. It's a never-ending 24/7. There is no off season.
And that's mentally on your body. It's like him. It's watching WWE Network or film. And then the constant beat down the body. That's why I say UFC and WWE. They're two probably hardest sports to do.
Well, UFC too. You got to study your opponent. Study a lot of things. Same thing with amateur wrestling. I'm a big component. What I teach my athletes is don't really worry about your opponent. If you're already good at skills of defending certain things, just worry about what you're going to do to attack him. The best defense is an offense.
That sounds cliche, and they say it in sports a lot,
Yeah,
but it's true.
It's the opposite from football. What was it? The What do they say? Defense wins championships, right? We're at amateur wrestling. We have a different philosophy. You know, the best defense is an offense. If you're on the attack always, you don't have to worry about the defense.
Exactly. Luigi, you brought something to me. I feel like I'm talking like fan to fan a little bit now. You know, your top 5 of all time wrestlers.
Well, besides me, you know, I'm number 1.
You should have waited to see if he would say.
You gave the spoiler.
Like I said, I haven't really watched the sport.
Okay.
He actually was in it with Brock Lesnar, I'd say.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know,
All right.
I remember John Cena when I was a kid. Ray used to put him on all the time.
Who you got for me?
Are we forgetting The Rock? I forgot
The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
The
You
Rock.
could forget The Rock.
Well, we don't even think about
He's
The
a
Rock
pure
anymore.
definition.
We
He's a
think
pure
about Dwayne
definition.
Johnson now. Yeah, that's the thing. I ask people all the time, your top 5, and they'll tell me, you know, a great list. Michaels, Austin, you know, they'll go through
Rock is on
Orton.
so many other
Well,
things,
well,
you know
That's what it
look
is.
at this.
He
So
self-promoted himself that much,
even
you know
just
what
a
I mean?
casual
And
fan.
I feel like he started that trend to do all that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, totally came from him. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even just someone that wasn't a fan and just seen it on TV once in a while, he can name The Rock and John Cena and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's who I'm. That's my goal. That's my future goal, is to be one of them.
Must
Of
be in
course,
those names, yeah.
that's what you want to shoot for. You want to be that household name. You want to get yourself to that level.
Yeah.
You know,
Rightfully
one
so.
day at a time. What can I do today?
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's always about being like a good character, like off the, well, outside the ring, essentially, you know, staying out of trouble, good conduct, stuff like that. Like, you
Yeah.
could be in the ring and be the bad guy in the ring, but outside the ring, when you're a good guy, it's like another, like, added bonus.
Well, that's like a lot of UFC fighters too. A lot of them, they're good guys too, but
Gotta brand yourself.
You got to put that brand in. You got to be tough. You know what I mean? Like McGregor is a perfect example. He's tough. He likes to talk smack, but I seen him train a couple times at Henzo's in the New York Athletic Club, and he puts in the work, man. He puts in that hard work. So
I got you. Alex, like now, or did you have anything else?
No, we can keep going.
All right.
I just wanted to give like a little like warning, like heads up, just so like it doesn't go so
at a
long.
time.
you
oh
know
no,
what I'm
we're
saying?
fine, man. Like I said, I could talk all day, man.
Same.
Put that mic in front of me.
Same. Again, we'll cut this part. I'm trying not to like get into all the questions that I want to, right? Because I know he wants to protect the brand and everything.
We can have that conversation after.
Yeah, you can always
for
do that
sure.
at another time. What's the biggest scare you've had in a match?
Oh, biggest scare?
Yeah.
That's a good question. The biggest scare is you trying something new and wondering if it's gonna work out or not.
I can imagine.
So that's the biggest thing, is you put in all this work and your training and figuring stuff out, and then you go and you perform and it's not what you want it to be. You know, it doesn't look as well, or you don't get the reaction you want. So that's always one of the biggest scares.
Especially when you jump from, okay, I'm on a mat, you know, singlet, and it's just us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just us doing it. And then you'd go to a different league
Yeah.
where they'll let you take a chair.
Yeah.
They'll let you throw a trash can in there.
Yeah.
And they'll let other people jump in there. Right?
Yeah,
And security doesn't ride out there and pounce them. Like, I always think of it, the ring is the HR room.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
problems that the guys have, this is where they fix it.
This is where you fix
This
it,
is where
right?
you fix it. So what has that been like? Have you taken any hard hits like that from a foreign object, as they used to call it in WCW?
Fortunately not, but you know, if the time is right, if I'm put in that position, if I'm putting in that type of match, of course I'm gonna have to adapt to the situations. It's actually funny because I've been going through these like waves of things that I've been doing for the first time. So it was like, all right, at first it was like, oh, I'd never been in a triple threat match before. The last 4 shows I was put in a triple threat
I
match.
think I just put a hex on you. I think I accidentally. The next match you're gonna have, there's gonna be a table on
Yeah.
fire, thumbtacks, nails, you know, dogs
Yeah.
barking, unleashing on you. I don't want to put that on your life. So,
Well, the one that Al was at was it was a lumberjack strap match. So all the lumberjacks had belts. So I was like, oh, I'd never really been in a no DQ match. All of a sudden they put me in that kind of match. I'm like, oh well, here we go.
a no DQ lumberjack strap match.
Yeah.
Now, me, because I'm so in it. I get it. I
Yeah.
understand. You know what I mean? To anybody, just a casual watcher who even hears that concept, they're like,
Why do these
dude, why
guys
would you
have
put
a-
yourself in that position? Why?
Look, hey, that's what the promoter wanted that match. So, like I said, you got to adapt to the situation. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do my thing. If hits me with a belt, well, I guess I'm going to have to go after them.
To someone who looks at you and says, you're crazy, right? You're an All-American athlete.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? What's your justification of it?
Same thing Ultimate Warrior told me, passion.
There you go.
My passion to be the best. I'm not stopping until I achieve this goal, or I've done everything physically and mentally possible to try to get me towards that goal.
Absolutely. Is there anything that's like, dude, this is off limits? Is there anything, any stipulation, any circumstance that you're like, I'm gonna pump the brakes before I throw it? Maybe not later. Maybe you'll grow into it.
Maybe I guess build that bridge when I have to.
There you go.
But right now, it's always about, doing what's best for you right now, and whatever show I'm put on. Fortunately, it's like whatever the promoter wants. You're there for the fans, and you're there for the next step.
Fans are pretty vocal.
Yeah.
Do you think they're too vocal sometimes?
Sometimes, then again, you want them to enjoy the show and everything. If that's how they express their feelings as being vocal, that's fine. Let them burn their voice out. But I nothing really. Fans could do basically what they want.
Right.
They're there to see you. So I really have nothing negative to say about them or anything.
Would you trust more live audience or online comments?
I try not to look at the comments.
Right.
But I always like doing stuff live because it's like you don't second guess yourself.
It's
like,
real.
all right. Yeah, it's real. It's like, all right, there's no doing it over again. This is it. You're out there. You're out there and competing. That's it. That's it. I kind of look at live. Anything live is just like, all right, this is the final product. Same thing with amateur wrestling. We had practice, right? Practice, it's fine. It doesn't matter how.
Right.
Let it all hang out. But the matches were like basically my live shows now. It's like I did all this training and practice. Now it's time for me to go out there and let it fly.
To make this work.
Make it work. Same thing with live with wrestling and pro wrestling on matches. It's like, all right, I put in all this work and training. Now it's time to let it fly.
One of my coworkers was actually a professional wrestler, and a couple months ago he got maced by a fan.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's the beauty of those.
Chris Steeler. He's talking
Chris
about Chris
Steeler.
Steeler.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of those smaller territories, is that people have that freedom because they're so much closer, and it isn't the big production. So you're not like, okay, I'm not allowed to. I can only hold back so much, dude. Nah. You're in a gymnasium. There's there's
anything could happen.
50 to 80 people, 100, whoever, and he pissed this lady off enough that she took out her pepper spray, right, and like got him like right in the eye, and he was like, "Nah, I'm still here. I'm still having to." Any interactions like that you've had?
No, but that's awesome. It reminds me of the old 70s and 80s stories that they have where people try to actually kill them.
I love it. I love that we're having this boom again, right? And I'm not sure if you're going to see that hit the larger brands, the AEWs, the WWEs, right? If you're ever going to see that, probably not, because it's,
Well, you never know. There's always someone working for something that they want. So if someone wants to, be that much of a bad guy where guys mace him, so be it. So I think there's a lot of people working hard to find that again, because people love that. People love the old 70s and 80s mentality of it. So hopefully it gets to that point again where we're all competing and all trying to make it a better competition and better product altogether. And
you look at guys like Triple H, you look at guys like Randy Orton, right? Some of the more aggressive, controversial figures, in the industry. Do you like when people don't like you? Does that fuel you? Do you like, don't like me? Give me a reason.
Yeah, give me a reason. It depends. It depends where you're at too. If I'm at an area that I'm not so fond of, then sure, they could hate me. It's everyone's opinion. Same thing with life. Everyone has different opinions with everything. Government, whether they like a different brand of something or not. So pro wrestling, same thing with real life. People have their own opinions, their own likes. So if people like you, okay, then make sure they keep on liking you. If they hate you, okay, have them keep on hating you. How could they hate you more today?
What do you see the crowd, reacting to you when you walk in to face Fred?
It's a New Jersey crowd. We're both from New Jersey. He's from Union, New Jersey. I'm from South Plainfield, New Jersey. I joke around. He's a Union farmer. That's their mascots. I'm like, what do farmers do? All they do is harvest. What do South Plainfield Tigers do? We hunt. So I'm going out there to hunt. I don't care about this time. I'm going out there like it's a college match, man. I'm going out there to compete.
Yeah.
So if the crowd cheers me, great. If the crowd boos me, that's fine. But I'm going out there to compete.
Has he reached out to you? Is he talking smack on social media? Or anything?
We actually had I was on his podcast. So
really,
it got pretty heated. So it was good. We were going back and forth. He has a co-host named Arnold. I'm like, listen, I'll talk to Arnold. I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean,
no, but it was good. We chimed in at each other.
Consummate professionals.
But we both have interesting and cool stories. So, you know, we merged like that. But November 23rd, it's time to compete. We're going to see who the better man is.
Absolutely. And where's that at one more time?
Centenary College, Hackettsown, New Jersey.
Doors open when? Do you know?
I think doors are at 6 or 7. Me and Fred will be the main event.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Is there anybody else on the card?
Oh yeah, a lot of the people that I train with at Damien's. Matty Vides, aka Matty Montana, the great outdoorsman. He's the man. We were traveling buddies. We still are. We travel together to different shows. That's the thing with Team Adams. You know, it's the closest thing to having a college or a team in amateur wrestling. It's like we're all teammates there. We're all there pushing each other and getting each other better. So we ride together. We train together. We try to get booked on the same shows. So we're like compadres, I call it. We're all family. So he'll be on the card. A lot of other wrestlers from Team Adams will be there, and it's good because, like I said, you put all this work practicing. Now it's time to show off. Now it's time to put it to work.
You gonna be there, Luigi?
Huh?
You gonna be there?
At Centenary, yes, I will.
He thought about it.
Yeah. He thought about it.
He's walking home.
He's wondering. He's wondering if there's.
Call me, I'm working overtime.
Yeah, well,
right?
he's wondering if there's a train line going up there. You know, he
Yeah,
works
so
for NJ Transit. Very hard-working, blue-collar town.
Blue-collar company.
Blue-collar company, NJ Transit. They get a lot of heat for running late and everything,
Listen,
but
that's
they're
not
doing
my fault. That's
they're
not
doing
my
the best they
department either.
can. They're doing the best they can.
Now, do you have anything you want to self-promote on your own as of right now? What we got you? Any
Jeff.
social medias, upcoming matches besides one we just talked about? But anything coming on yourself that you know about?
Basically, other than a lot of my stuff that I promote and put on my Instagram is basically, promote me or promoting people in my community or someone I'm close with. I'll promote you guys today too.
Appreciate that, my guy.
The one guy, Jeff, he works at Bearable. He makes
owns Bearable.
He owns Bearable.
Clothing line.
Louis. I'll plug him. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
He makes.
He made those shirts.
He
for
makes
you,
my
right?
shirts. He makes my
Do him a
shirts.
favor.
He does a great job making my shirts. And I'm very picky and whatever, so sometimes I can be a pain in the butt in what I like.
I hear that.
But
you have to be. It's what you're wearing in front of crowds of people.
Yeah. The purple one's a big hit. So Jeff, you got if you're listening, I don't know if you're gonna listen. The purple
We'll send it out to him. Don't
Purple
worry.
one's a big hit, but it's good. Bearable is his brand. If you're amateur wrestling, if you're an amateur wrestler listening, Wrestling Mindset. The company's also getting into different sports too. We're called Winning Mindset. So if you're a baseball player, basketball player, lacrosse player, gymnast, we got all different types of sports psychologist programs that you guys can go in there and keep your mind sharp for your games and competitions. So
awesome, that's dope.
Always got to plug them in, and then of course the big match, November 23rd. I hope you guys are going to it.
I'll go. 100%. November 23rd. We're going.
They're going. There we go.
We're committing right now on air in front of you. We're going.
All right.
What day is that again?
It's a Saturday.
All right, cool. We're going.
What else you can do on a Saturday night, man? Watch some wrestling.
Exactly.
I'm an independent contractor. I don't have a schedule.
Good. That's great.
One thing I want to point out is you were quick to give clout to somebody, but you took a long time to answer if you was going to that match for your cousin. You know what I'm saying?
I was on a whole different plan when he asked me the question. I wasn't even paying
Anybody else
attention,
peep
all right?
that? It was like, yo, Luigi, you going to the match? He's
I'm like, wait, what?
We're talking about we're talking about shouting out, and Luigi's like, the guy who makes your brand.
The guy who makes the brand. There you go.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, wait, is it Bearable or?
Yeah.
Nah, but we appreciate you coming through. Honestly,
thank you,
I would love
guys.
to have you back on again.
Oh yeah,
all the
whenever
time.
you guys want.
You
For
always
sure.
have the option to call into the studio. Luigi, you always come back through. Once again, we're talking to Ray Jazz. I want to call you WWE superstar so bad, but
Nah,
we'll
yeah,
be there
that's-
soon.
hopefully,
We'll get there soon.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Wherever life takes me, that's where it goes.
Right.
Patient. Yeah. Well, you can
That's
put
what
it-
I'm right. WWE hopeful.
Yeah, patience is a virtue. How am I going to be a better pro wrestler tomorrow? Wherever the cards fall.
Right.
The same thing right before the national tournament. I was like, wherever the cards fall. If I become a national champion, so be it. If I'm All-American, so be it. If I totally dud out, so be it.
Nah,
But wherever
not the cards.
Yeah, wherever the cards fall, that's where it is. But like I said, I'm gonna do everything that I possibly can to get me to that goal.
Right.
So
And
at
you're
the end of-
already You're already making it. Once again, we're talking to Ray Jazz. You can follow him on Instagram, Ray__Jazz, Jaz. His cousin Luigi.
Luigi.
Plug your Instagram because
Pizza Lou, Pizza Lou,
He went
1994.
all Italian on the
He's
on
it.
the Instagram too.
He-
Damn.
His family used to own a pizzeria in East Brunswick. Now
Now
his-
Luigi owns.
Yeah, well now his
Luigi
uncle.
owns it.
So now
Well,
we're the real
we're not real cousins, but he's so close. He's
It's
basically my
family.
cousin.
Family,
He's
yeah.
family. But Pizza Lou 1994, man.
Yep.
He still makes the pizza,
I make
But
pizza
right
out
now he
of
works.
Foxos in Somerville on Tuesday nights.
There you go,
Okay,
Tuesday nights.
okay.
But he works for NJ Transit. Hardworking guy. So
We're also talking with Nick Batty. Nick, you
Yeah.
have a movie coming up next summer. If you want to talk about that real quick.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. I signed an NDA. I can't say too much,
Okay.
right? But we are shooting next summer. This summer coming up, it will be on Netflix. I believe we're in talks. Definitely on Amazon and Hulu. The following fall. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Let me
Very
know.
cool.
I'll definitely.
absolutely appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You could be like one of the main characters on the
This is my second feature film, right? It's all independent, but this is I'm the leading role. This is my first leading role in a feater film. Absolutely.
There we go. There we go.
It's actually the tiny spoiler. It's the third part of a series of movies. I was in the second. They loved what I did. I was in maybe 4 scenes. I had like maybe 8 lines, and they were like, "Dude, we are writing something for you." Right, for
There we
you.
go.
So the vote of confidence that I got was insane when I got that phone call. I almost missed it too. I got a phone call. I updated my phone. OS sucks. I updated it, and all my numbers got messed up. So I had the director's number, and I saw that I had a number and a missed phone call, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay attention to whatever that voicemail was. Boy, was I happy that I did.
Oh, there we go. Right, there we go.
She was like, I've been trying to reach out to you. I have this role for you. And I was like, oh, that sounds dope. I'm an actor. I love work. And when I can get it, it's awesome. And she's like, yeah, leading role in the next version of this. And I was like, are you serious? Like, sign me up. So she sent over the paperwork immediately. I signed off, sent it right back. And, I can only say so much. But that's
Hey, there
awesome.
we
When
go.
we get closer to spring, I can start
There we
revealing
go.
That's
There we
awesome.
go. I'm looking
information.
forward to
Very
it.
cool.
Yeah,
And
for
then-
sure. Let me know.
Absolutely.
We can't forget we got Jay Selner, the host of the 920 Sports Skill Radio Show on 920 The Jersey, right?
And I'll hopefully be seeing you on Sunday.
Yes,
maybe?
yes. Yeah, I think we'll have to talk about that, but I think I'll be in the studio.
Awesome.
Let's do
On Sunday, Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey and sportsskilletradio.com.
Dope, dope,
Oh,
dope.
there we go.
Yeah.
This is your studio. This is your dojo.
On Fox Sports Radio, it is on
Oh,
Sunday.
Well, his
There you
studio's
go.
in Princeton. His
Yeah.
studio's in Princeton.
Yep.
This is in Princeton.
It's Route
Yeah.
1. Route
So-
1.
Ah,
Get
you've
you
been
there.
up there.
Yeah, I've been to Princeton. I used to train there. So in the summers, I used to train at Princeton University, and then of course Rutgers. Rutgers was my
Yeah.
backyard, but occasionally I would go to Princeton and wrestle with the team over there.
Yeah, we're right off of Route 1 every Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, great. Fox Sports, man.
That's
There we
right.
go.
Hopefully, we can have this podcast on the website too. This little episode featuring Ray on the show. on the
Hey,
website.
send it over to me. We'll pop it right up.
There we
Awesome,
go. Plug
awesome,
it in
cool.
for sure.
So
I
I'll send-
appreciate it,
Yeah,
guys.
of
Of
Thanks.
course, we'll send you all the details
And
once
hey-
again.
Hey, if you ever want to come into the studio with us on a Sunday morning, feel free.
Oh, of
you
course.
got an open
yeah.
invitation.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd definitely love to check it out. Princeton's not too far from me either. It's like 20, 30 minutes maybe. Yeah. It's right there.
Very cool. So whenever you want to pop into the studio, just let us know, and
Yeah.
you can pop in.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, I appreciate it for sure. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming through, Ray. We appreciate having you. Hopefully, we can have you on again. I'd love to keep talking.
Uh-huh.
This was fun, honestly, to keep
Yeah.
doing it.
I'll leave you guys with this. I always like to leave everyone with this. Ready? This is the button. Right? For anyone listening or anything, just remember, good enough is the death of greatness, all right? So don't just be good enough. Put in that little bit of extra, all right? Because everyone could be great. You just got to put in that little bit of extra, right? So don't just settle for being good enough.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Ray. It was great talking to you. And we'll see you next time we have you on the show.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Of course.